Hello there, welcome to an INFJ ramble. Today's topic is going to touch on INFJ dark side, and I want to thank a YouTube viewer for suggesting I make a video on this topic because it is something that I am interested in and I just haven't taken enough time to, I guess, explore. And yeah, I was motivated to do some research, and I came across a pretty well-written article that just kind of helped me to put things in perspective so that I could understand my shadow function or my shadow self, or the parts of myself that I need to bring light to, you know, like my blind spots. We all have blind spots, right? And until we realize or acknowledge our blind spots, we can't really, you know, enhance that aspect of ourselves. So um, this this article was written on Quora.com. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I will reference this site on occasion when I have a particular topic on mind that I want to explore, and it's interesting to see different people's perspectives in order to kind of garner enough angles to piece things together in a way that your mind can comprehend and digest. Um, yeah, so I basically went online and I typed in INFJ dark side, and of course, you know, a bunch of like links showed up, and I don't know how I pick and choose links, but you know, I guess whatever grabs me the most, or yeah, grabs my attention the most, I'll click on it, and then I'll just kind of like go from there. And if there's any, you know, validity to any of the perspectives, then I'll keep reading. If there is no validity to it, then I just kind of move on. And I think you can agree it's a feeling. You just can kind of sense if somebody is, you know, actually like getting it or not. You know what I mean? Or if there's some truth to it, or some kind of like, you know, whatever. I think you know what I'm talking about. I think we all are wired pretty similarly, so we function pretty similarly. I do not have to break it down for you. But anyhow, yeah, so I came across this article. I kind of want to share it with you. I don't want to, I'm going to read it verbatim off of this because it just I feel like it would be it would be better if I did that. Um, in the same vein, there was other people who left commentary, and I just thought that they were kind of coming from a limited perspective, and they were still playing the victim card instead of trying to recognize and own up to their shit so that they could actually like do the work to kind of transmute and integrate, you know what I mean? But I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get into this, and maybe you can relate to it, maybe you cannot, and either way it's okay. We're all learning together, so let's begin. So Quora.com, Quora.com, I typed in what is the INFJ dark side, and there's 40 answers, but the first one really, really resonated with me. It's by Esther Olszewski. I'm sorry if I did not say her last name right, but yeah, let's go. Let's get into this. So, INFJ dark side. INFJs think they care too much. The truth is, there's a line. Usually, this caring thing we do is, of course, motivated by caring. Our FE is telling us what others are feeling. Helping them makes everyone feel better, duh, but we also cross the line quite easily, and our motivation becomes, hey, look at me, I care about you. Why aren't you seeing me? And why aren't you sacrificing yourself for me like I do for you all the time? Now it's all about us. We ask ourselves why it always falls back on us, why we always have to carry the big loads, why we need to understand everyone and do the caring for and about everything. Because we need attention. And this is the only way we know how to get it when we're not watching ourselves. This is also the only way we want to get it, because we scoff at all the other ones. We are so noble. So we do it all and lose ourselves, usually because we never had ourselves in the first place. And then it goes into our FI is a shadow function. The only way to find out what and who we are is to use FE until we fucking get ourselves. Because losing yourself equals stress, equals shadow self, equals ESTP, equals INFJ dark side. When we find ourselves forced or compelled in whatever way to use one or more of our shadow functions, we trigger our shadow self, the worst version of an ESTP. Controlling because we know best, resentful because the others just don't get it, irritable and bitter because we've stopped looking out for ourselves, non-communicative because we don't know what to say anymore. There's literally too much and nothing at all to say, so we choose to say nothing. This, ending all communication with the outside world, happens easily when we let ourselves fall into the NITI loop. So to sum it up, when we are too selfish and too noble to give a shit about ourselves, thus showing that we actually don't care for others, just the attention caring too much gets us, we stop using FE, aka communicating. We lock ourselves up inside our heads and feel excruciating pain for simply existing. So, I guess to sum it up, we've created an identity for ourselves, and I think that's in correlation with the savior mentality, but I think the main motivation or the thing that motivates us to function this way is because it's the only way we can validate ourselves or get the attention that we need externally, but it really starts from within. So instead of, like I said, in a lot of my videos, it's about taking your power back. It's about giving yourself the love, the care, the understanding, the sympathy, the compassion, that you give others first and foremost. Forgive yourself, support yourself in a way that will encourage healthy behaviors and mindsets and patterns. And, you create blueprints that will help you to become more holistic. Because right now so if you think about things from a dualistic standpoint, you have yin and yang, dark and light, male and female. Everything is comprised of its opposite, but it's the same thing. So if you were to take a look at your life, I think for most of your life you've been externalizing, but you haven't really been paying too much attention to your internal realm. So since, like for me personally, that's what I did. I spent so much of my life and my energy and my time externalizing to everyone else. 37 years later, I realized that's not working for me. And I literally had a meltdown. I literally shut down because I was going through deep depression. I had days where I couldn't get myself out of bed. And then I had to really look at my life and go, okay, this hasn't been working. I've been doing this for 37 years. This hasn't been working. What do I need to do to shift myself so that I can realign myself in a way that is healthy, in a way that I can create situations and experiences that allow me to thrive. And it was all about self-introspection and like looking at myself and looking at, okay, I have poor communication skills. Why do I have poor communication skills? Um, I need external validation. Why do I need external validation? And it all boiled down to what this girl said in the article. It's like, I was, the things that I was distributing are the very things that I needed to give to myself. You know what I mean? Because if you're really, really giving to someone, you wouldn't expect anything in return, but for most of our lives, we've been giving and giving, and then, like, sorry, thinking like, okay, why aren't people loving me the way I love them, or caring about me the way I care about them, or giving me as much time as I give them? You see how like there's an expectation attached to the giving. So it's not really sincere, it's almost like you're looking for a return. When in actuality, you should be giving these things to yourself so that when you give to others, you don't really need them to give anything back to you. You don't really need them to give, the same amount of time and care and love that you've been giving, because you're already giving it to yourself. So any leftovers is just kind of trickling out to others, and there is no like expectation or resentment or anything. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense. um I'm getting there. I mean, I'm getting to a point where, I've spent so much time introspecting and giving myself the care that I need. So I I have gotten in the habit of creating boundaries. Like, I don't overextend myself anymore. I'll do what I feel is in my best interest, like what I feel I can do, without um, burning myself out. And that's all I can do. That's all I can give. Whereas before I would really overextend my care and my giving. Um, and like before, I would try to help people with their problems, or help um, help because I cared, in the arena of, preventing them from having an experience because I could foresee the outcome. Now I just kind of like see it as, okay, they need to experience that so that they can garner the experience to grow into a better human being. So I'm not going to interfere, you know? Like I don't have that compulsion to always want to fix or change or do or care. I just kind of step back and I just kind of allow everyone to be, most especially myself. So that's where I function. And I think like the more I've gotten to know myself, the more I've gotten to care for myself and love myself and forgive myself for my shortcomings, I can do that for others. But it starts with you, you know? And I don't know, like I said, I think everything is a process, so you have to kind of like grow through these progressive phases and stages of life until you finally, like me, it took 37 years until I had a mental breakdown and I was heavily depressed, to be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? This isn't working. People are like, backstabbing me, neglecting me. And it's all about because I was neglecting myself. And I was backstabbing myself, by overextending and giving and giving and caring for others instead of myself. So I guess, I don't know if I touched on that, but I feel like I did. And I feel like I've gotten more perspective on the subject, because that's the core root of it all. I mean, we can talk about door slamming, we can talk about, icing people out, we can talk about, holding on to resentment all we want, but that's just surface stuff. Like, if you want to get to the core root of it, it has to do with, you need to do your internal work, and you need to become your own friend and give yourself your own love and care and validation and acceptance. And I've said this in other videos, you know. So, hey man, if you learned something cool, if you didn't, that's cool too. Thank you for watching, and blessings to one and all. Amen.